Top 10 ecchi anime, where the MC doesn't run away from girls. When the word ecchi comes to mind, all of a sudden we have female anime characters just rampaging all over the place, making it hard to see what time of day it is. And you know what happens when you put a thirsty, naughty boy in a setting like that? You get a show that's, at times, so not normal that it makes you reconsider why you picked it up in the first place. I mean, you can't blame them since they're male anime characters, and not everyone is the hotshot Sasuke from Naruto, not giving a flying hoot about who just fainted because he took a little too many breaths the last minute. You might have seen some soy boys running away from these bouncy anime girls, but there are some characters who just don't pay any heed to it and take the bull by the horns, making sure they face the girls head on without giving in. These are anime where the protagonist just doesn't run away from girls, even when their thirst crosses all the limits, and deliver a plot that's both entertaining and hilarious to no end. With that being said, let's have a look at some naughty boys. 10. Masao Gakuen HH. We're starting it off with the best juggle physics anime has to offer in a show where your own sister becomes the perfect wing woman you'll ever have. Kizuna isn't the luckiest soul out there with an HHG that does nothing to make him stand out from the crowd. But that might prove to be the blessing in disguise he thought never came his way, since with his getting transferred to a totally different school, all these girls are enough to make a man hot to the core in a heartbeat, as they make the whole world seem like it's bouncing the entire time. But it doesn't end at just that, no sir. With Kizuna having a new purpose to assisting the girls to achieve that level up or power spike that he alone can be the trigger for, just how lucky can a boy get, even when it comes to anime? A whole lot of unexpected experiences and encounters are coming your way, and with the show as underrated as it gets, show it some love. 9. Kiss X Sis. Now when it comes to an anime about girls displaying the best lust has to offer, then one does look forward to a protagonist that's the biggest Chad anime has seen to date. But 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥 would change your perception of reality from the get-go, because in a show like Kiss X Sis, the standards that we have here in the real world don't matter at all, with the remarriage and the stepsisters already making the show a big no for most of the audience out there. Kiss X Sis makes sure it stands out compared to the rest of the ecchi anime we have, since intimacy and feelings taking over one's body just doesn't end at the stepsisters introduced into 𝐜𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥's life. Fighting with his own emotions and feelings while being the trophy that the two hotties are fighting for, just what is stored in for the hardworking boy who just happens to be one of the biggest chick magnets anime's ever seen. 8. Oredaki Haireru Kakushi Dungeon. An OP ability with a cooldown replenished by some of the best smooches animation has to offer is enough to have a lot of fans be head over heels for the show that features it. But Oredaki Haireru Kakushi Dungeon adds that RPG, magic, and heroic elements into a plot that seems to be nothing but a zero to hero story that was written in the most hurried way possible. Entering that hidden dungeon might be the only thing Noir-stalgia did right in his life, since meeting the maiden granted him an ability that would make every other ecchi protagonist jealous in a couple of seconds at most. Witness the journey of the boy as he displays what might be the most OP ability there is, followed by him enrolling into the Hero Academy and using a rather unique way of replenishing what he lost because of the usage of that godly power. One thing's for sure, they went all out now, didn't they? 7. Kannagi. I'm pretty sure that despite all these plantation campaigns going on all around the world, this show's going to be enough to turn around the whole thing, since weebs sure like to try out all that anime has to offer. No, neither Jin nor any of us could have expected how things played out in the anime, since a girl coming out of a tree all of a sudden isn't a setting any of us are super familiar with. Plus, the show doesn't just stop at that, with Nagi making sure he pays for what he did in addition to the show introducing all these other girls ready to have their way with the poor boy Jin. Kannagi would make sure you get to see a different side to the ecchi genre, since the show adds a lot to the OG setting we all clicked on this video for, with comedy being the perfect cherry on top of the romance ecchi setting that makes these kind of shows a great time. Kannagi isn't something any of you can miss out on. 6. Amagami SS. Getting dumped on Christmas Eve might be a nightmare all of us would wake up from in an instant. But when it's the reality that the nightmare plays out in, Junichi is at a loss of words as to what exactly life and fate has done to him. After an experience like that, you just close your heart and don't open your book to anyone else, at least until time heals you to the person you were before that fateful day. But Lady Luck is here to show the boy some love, since with a bunch of girls suddenly breaking into the dark life that Junichi has ever since that Christmas, Amagami SS is the perfect anime for any dating sim fans. And in case you want a lot more than than the show offers, then the visual novel and the game is all armed and ready to keep you company. Since fans of the show are all but more welcomed by the very title in question, no? See through the boy's love life as assuming the role of a Cupid might be the best thing ever in this case. 5. Conception. Hearing your cousin tell you that she's pregnant on your graduation day makes you rather confused as to how you should be reacting to this unexpected news. But conception has a totally different concept planned out for viewers, since getting transported into a totally different world was the least of 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐻's expectations when he signed up for the show. Declared to be someone similar to the god in a place like this, 𝐒𝐡𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐻 must be the savior of this god-forsaken land, and in order to do so, he must use a trick in the book not many characters are brazen enough to even have a glimpse of. Star children and impurities, making you question what's right and what's wrong in an anime where nothing normal is happening anywhere. Conception might be a title whose rating speaks for itself, and in case you're wondering if we're another one of those Mal worshippers, then go ahead and see for yourself what this unique piece of art has to offer. 4. Cross-age. Giving a twist to the ecchi genre that just can't help but amaze us over and over again, cross-age is something else. With the show establishing a new meaning of mana for ourselves as normal becomes the new normal, 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐻 is going to witness the worst twist of fate known to mankind, since the descent from the royalty to something worse than a commoner isn't something that lets people live for long, at least when history is taken into account. But that twist making these paramales and dragons show us action that not a lot of us would have expected from a mile away, cross-age blends almost every other genre with the ecchi setting, and brings us a show that just deletes the eye of Norma from our head for an eternity to come. Seeing 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐧𝐬𝐻 encounter and overcome these trials and tribulations is encouraging, but at the same time, take things a little too far at times. 3. 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐻𝐽 no Honkai. If Friends for Benefits was an anime, then it'd be 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐻 no Honkai. No doubt about that. Seeing Hanabi and Mugi seem to everyone as the happiest Disney couple there is sure makes the heart flutter, at least once, no matter how much of a Sherlock you are. But the moment the show reveals it to you how things really are between the two of them, it truly seems like the anime had us in the first half. Not gonna lie, seeing time and fate take a turn for the two of them as they get potential chances with their own true love interest makes us root for the two of them while cheering for their story at the same time. But anime characters and humans are a little too similar at times, and this show perfectly depicts how loneliness and insufficiency can lead you down a road that you might regret later on in life. 2. 𝐵𝐴𝐴 no Kaijitsu. In a school where the staff comprises only of the principal and the student body is nothing but 5 girls other than you, a post-apocalyptic setting where mecha monsters fight each other to death is the only scene any anime fan would have in mind. But reality is totally different both for us and Yuji Kazami, as now being a part of that institution, he learns more and more about the girls, and with every step teaching him that there's a lot more to them than what meets the eye. The show makes the mysterious approach hit us in full swing, while the romance melts our heart more than just a couple of times throughout the entirety of its runtime. Seeing Yuji and the 5 girls have their own story is a delightful experience, and by the end of the series you feel connected to the characters in a way that makes binging all that series has to offer the easiest thing in the entire universe. 1. Danchigai. Being all alone at home with your sister sure sounds a hassle and something not a lot of people want to deal with. But when your mom's an overseas girl who just isn't made for looking after the house, then you're the one who has to look after everything. Haruki's adventures with his sisters and a bunch of other characters are fun to watch, and with every character bringing her own set of problems to the table, it's just a different story every time, with the laughs never getting bland or repetitive by any means. Sure, the episodes are like 3 minutes long, making you write it off as a series that just isn't for anyone older than 10. But trust me, give it a chance and you'll see for yourself why the 4 Coma manga adaptations end up a big hit soon after their debut. And those were the top 10 ecchi anime where the MC doesn't run away from girls. Tell us in the comments below which one's your favorite, and in case we missed someone you think deserved a spot on the list. Also, check out my finance channel as well. I'll leave the link in the description. Goodbye and take care.